What would you do if you became homeless? Where would you go? How would you get off the streets? Who would help you?
Homelessness to me means people or folks that are without a home. They are either on the streets or in shelters.
When a person does not have a roof over their head or a warm bed to sleep in, I am a person that believes that home is where the heart is, and so even if that means that you have to bunk out on a friend or a family member's living room floor, you and your children, which I've personally done, for a couple of weeks, that I'm not homeless. I was displaced from my home, fleeing the abusive situation, but again, I was lucky enough to have a roof over my home. So to me, it's homelessness is when you don't have a roof over your head.
Homelessness kind of has a lot of faces. And in fact, when folks come in and see our programming here, and we have a lot of people who will come in and volunteer to help out in a lot of different ways, usually it's kind of an eye-opening experience for them because it kind of pushes aside some of the preconceived notions of what homelessness is. You see the Hollywood version of somebody pushing a shopping cart down the street and sleeping in a cardboard box. It runs the gamut of individuals who just, through sometimes psychological issues or other economic issues that are going on, literally are living on the streets, all the way up to individuals and families who just, sometimes life has just, kind of kicked them and they're down and they find themselves without any place else to go.
Homelessness means not having a place, job, a will.
The United States is one of the wealthiest countries. We as citizens are privileged to live in the United States. We are free to choose where we live, what job we want, and what food we eat. It's hard to imagine life any easier. If you don't have money, you can use credit. Then how do we get from having it all to having nothing?
You can't put your finger on just one situation. You can't, say you're homeless because of this reason. There's usually multiple reasons why people are homeless, and some it's real simple, like they just got laid off of their job and they can't afford house payments anymore. or they're addicted to drugs and alcohol, or they just got out of prison. They don't have a place to stay and they don't have any family. And so there are some that are really easy that you can put your finger on, but there are a lot of issues that a lot of people have that turns out to make them homeless. Like they can't hold a job, or they can't do this, or they can't do that. So
obviously the economy impacts homelessness. I think I touched on a little bit earlier that there's also an element of mental illness that creates a lot of difficulties. There are some people who, because of whatever issues they may be dealing with, just can't or won't live inside under a roof and inside four walls, kind of a thing.
Many of the folks that call our home are teens. Young pregnant moms, 18 years old, 21 years old, moms whose husband beat them and kicked them out of the house. So it's not just losing a job or source of income, it's abuse also.
It's a tough question because, you know, for every person coming in, there are very specifics. And that's the thing that I'm privileged to be able to do, is to see beyond the stats and the numbers, because every person comes in with a story. So for as many people as walk in our door, there's a different story and a different situation that brings them to the point that they're in. There's a growing need for mental health care, both because that need seems to be growing with the people we're seeing, but also there's a real lack of psychiatrists and therapy for that population. So that, I think, has been identified as a need.
we could end homelessness with people who don't want to be homeless. And there's a lot of ways that we could do that, just by taking people into our houses or our garages, or and that's not legal, but just hotels opening up their doors. I mean, there's so many vacancies in hotels that, I mean, hotels are just laying there doing nothing. And if hotels would get up the courage to let maybe one homeless person stay in one room a night, or, you know, rent out their hotel rooms, I mean, we could end homelessness in America very easily just by hotels alone.
Give them a place, you know. That's all you really can do. Give them a place. It's what's so great about this, about Peace and Coffee, is that not only do we give them food to eat, like good food to eat, it also restores or reinstates the humanity back into them. And here, you bring out the food with a smile on your face, and it makes the homeless or the poor or whatever they're going through happy, because they don't get that in other places. And it just kind of reinstalls the humanity back into them, like I said, because with all these other places that are doing this with volunteers that aren't happy, it brings them down ultimately, and I can honestly say that because I was going through that.